Vlogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply.
Alright, so this is the vlogcast for round 18 of the 2013 season. Fyfie joined by Paddlepop, Duckula,
G'day.
the Cat Wrangler.
We're the pride of South Australia. We're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
Dan's joined us again despite what he said last week.
Evening all.
And since we're over the cap this week, it would be suitable to bring in a Carlton supporter for that. Joining us to talk about Gold Coast Carlton, we have Cthublhu.
Big ass.
This is exciting for me. Tell us about that night, Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah. What can I say? It was an unexpected loss. I had shitloads of beer and I had access to porn. Big footy. I mean, it all added up. It seemed so right at the time.
Yeah, it was what you'd call a gotta-see thread.
It was a perfect storm of everything, really.
It was fun. I was laughing the whole time.
We all have a question that we have to ask you. If Carlton lose to Gold Coast again, will there be an encore?
Oh, it won't be a surprise this time. Collingwood's already stolen our thunder for the week.
Oh, Gold Coast against Collingwood, that was amazing, amazing result. Watching the Scum get beaten by an extension team was brilliant.
Did not occur to Buckley that, maybe we should tag Ablett?
You can't tag him.
Well, even Daniel Jackson did it last week, for fuck's sake.
49 touches. That's some crazy shit.
He got 53 last year, and everyone argues they were back pocket touches, but he still racked them up, and they really should have had someone running with him.
I played someone in Supercoach this week who didn't have Ablett as captain. Can you believe that?
Collingwood was shit.
Their midfield runs one way, and that's been obvious to most people all year, but they don't have a proper stopper since Wellingham left because no one else goes after their man more than Wellingham.
Yeah, wasn't there an awesome thread about their easy run into the finals? That was a nice backfire, I thought.
Worked well.
Seedsman kicking a goal late, he did all right. Tried to lift them, but it just wasn't enough.
Not even Seedsman could get him over the line. Let's face it, Fig Jam, he coaches like he played. It's like, I'm so effing good, I don't have to tag a superstar like Ablett. And guess what? Ablett went in dry on him and milled the crap out of him. He's rubbish, coach.
GWS was shot this week for their first win. Collingwood was so shit.
And Buckley's obviously not big on team harmony, blaming the loss on Cloke and his goal kicking, basically, saying Cloke's kicking cost them.
What a dog. He actually pots his own player in public. And that just went straight through to the keeper and the media. It's like they're also afraid of Chins Maguire. They can't say anything.
Did you see Buckley stayed in the coach's box for an extra 5 minutes after the siren went as well? And still talking about, I have no idea what he's talking about, the game wasn't over. It was interesting.
Cloke's goal kicking. It's interesting that he took a pot shot at him in the media, but it was pretty shit. He missed some dead set shockers. They actually mentioned on the AFL site before he kicked that goal from that very soft free kick he got, go and expect the umpires clearly worked for them this week, that he had one goal out of his last 16 shots on goal.
Horrible.
That's terrific.
We all said last week, they had their midfield back, they're going places, they had their easy draw, and yet they still found a way to stuff it up. They're an absolute joke of a club at the moment, and he can't coach. He's hopeless.
Is he worse than Sheedy?
Nah, I really hate Kevin Sheedy. He's a tool bag. He's responsible for everything that goes wrong in footy, Kevin Sheedy. I hate how everyone loves him so much. Oh, I just want to chop him down. He's not that great, is he? He's not that great.
But yeah, Cloke's goal kicking's obviously shit. How would we go about fixing that? Podcast fix for this week. We haven't had it in a few weeks.
My suggestion is if before the game or before the season starts, you tell him every goal he kicks, he gets a new crisp $5 note to add to his collection, I think you'll be on point.
So incentivising it?
I'd incentivise him with a 5-year contract worth millions of dollars. I reckon that'd do it.
I reckon the more goals he kicks per game, the closer you move his parking spot to the Westpac Centre so he doesn't have to walk, because we know how much he loves parking close by.
Yeah, give him Eddie's spot.
Yeah.
Give him Eddie.
Just to take him home.
Don't know if Bucks like that.
Don't the Clokes have some odd fucking farm animal thing going on at their house? They let their horse walk through their house or some shit?
Yeah, he has a Shetland pony. He lets it walk through the house.
Suze.
You're trying to say he gives Suze a ride every now and then.
Someone's got him.
No, they don't. Any other ways to fix his goal kicking and
You transplant an actual brain into his head might help. He's always seemed a bit thick to me.
smoke and shadows behind the mirrors. What about Dane Swan covering his tats with makeup?
People do weird things when they're on drugs, man.
There were two big chokes this week. Both involve the Scott brothers. We'll start with the first one on North Melbourne doing a reverse choke, getting into the winning position against Carlton, and Boomer Harvey overruns the ball inside of goals.
I laughed.
I didn't.
I wouldn't say it was a choke. It was Carlton brilliance, to be honest.
Now it's a choke.
Yeah, they got back into winning that and they were running all over you and couldn't get that last goal.
They put themselves in a winning position and couldn't get the job done. That's a choke.
It was refreshing to see them finish strong for a change rather than falling apart like a dodgy Subalaki.
North was always going to come back at us. I mean, if you've seen our last quarters the last few weeks, we always get belted late in the third and the fourth.
No one gets belted late in the game, though, worse than North Melbourne. That's their thing. Don't take that away from them. That's their thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing we've got.
Definitely a reverse choke, which brings us to Geelong, really. You know, the Scott brothers. I'm starting to think that that's clearly a genetic condition. I'm calling it the Scott choke.
You could be on something there.
Yeah, that game, I watched it. It was fantastic. And you'll be glad to know, Ducks, I've said it last quarter in the hard-on drive in the prawn folder. Total footy porn is that one.
I'm very happy with that, thank you. Do you reckon the Scott brothers, like, you know, when Chris on the game on Sunday, do you reckon Brad's throat started hurting towards the end of the game? Like, sort of the sympathy choke, you know, when twins can feel the pain that the other one does?
Kind of like a phantom cock in his mouth.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Or just one of them's at home watching the game and he sees the poor decision. He feels obliged to throw his hands in the air and...
Exactly, yeah. Or have a sip of his water and then throw the bottle against the wall, you know?
Hit the roof, that sort of thing.
Got a bit of a whinge, actually. I'm going to pull a paddles here. Damn all you vlogs with your lol Geelong threads. That's my line. Can you quit it?
Yeah, Blixarves was pretty good on the weekend too.
Yeah, but you notice he gets something wrong as often as he gets something right. And who's the one who's bigging up on him? It's like little gay man. What's his name?
Bruce McAvaney.
Bruce McAvaney loves him. Oh, Blitzarves. Oh, isn't he special?
He says the same thing about Rioli.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, but
Rioli,
Rioli is
isn't
special.
he delicious? Oh, Rioli.
You got your hands in your pants there?
Nah, Paddles only does that when he's thinking about the non-Paddlepop jumper. St Kilda versus Port.
Oh, that was just terrific. I loved it. Every minute of it. I read the game day thread of the St Kilda board. It was poetry.
Is it time to
really?
give them the moral premiership cup already?
They've got it in the bag.
It's really funny how this season started to go. First it was like, oh yeah, haha, umpires. And then I reckon probably 3 or 4 times in the last 6 or 7 weeks it's been, it is the umpires in these games.
Speaking of umpires, I've got to say they did have a few complaints. That probably wasn't a trip. It probably wasn't 50.
Oh,
it probably wasn't.
Man in front, that one was disgraceful. That was overlooked, and Westhoff got given a marking at 3 deep with a St Kilda player with hands on it at the front.
Milne made an actual pretty funny comment to the umpire where he thought he deserved a kick, where he said any chance one's going to go our way soon, which I thought was actually pretty funny at the time.
Yeah, what did he say? Any chance one's going to go our way? I thought they did pretty well to get back into it. The Robertson interview was kind of odd.
I missed that. Was he just spaced out, was he?
Sent him back on in the interview at half time and he didn't know what planet he was on. Well done.
What did he get? Oh, he got smacked in the head, didn't he?
Yeah, the Port guy got 3 weeks, which has caused a lot of sooking.
Oh, here's a 5-page thread so far about the match review panel out to get Port Adelaide. Sook.
It's a bit like the umpires out to get St Kilda. Everyone's got a victim complex.
Yeah, but the umpire's getting St Kilda's fun.
It's funny now that it seems to be, half legit. Although St Kilda won the free kick count.
They do every time Plugger whinges about the umpires.
GWS Essendon, they had probably their best crowd due to the free tickets they were giving away for those who went to the Manchester United game afterwards.
Crack 5,500, did they?
They got 11.
Whoa.
And they actually didn't play too horribly, which might get a few of them to come back, maybe. And Essendon, well, they rested a few players, which is a bit odd because, they got suspensions coming their way anyway.
Yeah, which reminds me that I think we have to talk about Log of the Week, don't we? That strategy fella.
Are we allowed to say anything?
Well, look, I did get a bit of a message from the lawyers during the week representing strategy, Lionel Hutz, attorney at law, and he was pretty forthright in letting me know that if we mention strategy not being maybe an individual of normal intelligence, not being an individual who knows what he's talking about, maybe being a bit thick, then we could get ourselves into trouble. So, if you're going to say strategy's thick or stupid or doesn't know what he's talking about, then you should certainly be careful how you phrase it.
So we better not say, for example, that strategy was a tool. We couldn't say something like that, could we?
No, you couldn't. You probably couldn't say he was stupid. Probably couldn't say he blows goats. You can't say any of that.
No, because we're taking this very seriously and obviously we don't want to get sued.
And we can't nominate him for Flog of the Week either, can we?
I think we can.
Fyfie says we can.
Fyfie's got the message from Chief. It's come down from up above.
His lawyers are all over it.
Ooh, mate, Lionel Hart's are steaming under the collar.
So Flog of the Week then.
Yep, come at us.
He's never coming back, mind you, because I'm sure you all read in the conversation that he
No.
got threatened by the teach.
Tyler Callett.
He said, "Don't come back."
Down lessons.
He's our Flog of the Week, I'd have to say. That was also Thread of the Week. That thread, it's very much worth a read just to see how much legal trouble we all really are in for talking about Essendon.
Has anyone won the prize yet?
Yeah, where's my prize?
The prize was you got to see the meltdown.
What?
As meltdowns go, it wasn't very impressive, I must say.
Honourable mention reaction to the thread of the week was for one created by Hodgepodge. You know, he does some crazy work at times. His Bartol obsession's a little bit weird, but his thread of should an AFL club draft a lion? Well, that was so left field. Malcolm Blight wouldn't have come up with it.
I reckon he might need to reduce the medication.
Reduce or up?
Reduce. I reckon he's taking too much. He's off with the line fairies.
You've got to get him on the show.
I thought Cat Wrangler was Hodgepodge anyway.
Oh, don't even go there.
The rest of the games,
Just say it, Fyfie, say it. You're daydreaming about finals, aren't you? 10 goal wins.
they are so close, I can always touch them.
He hasn't seen finals since his balls dropped, so who can blame him?
He probably doesn't even know what finals feels like. Do you know what finals feels like, Fyfie, or is it like a mystery to you?
I went and saw us roll Carlton in 2001, back when the Twin Towers still stood, I think. That's how long ago it was.
It sounds like a good time to talk about the Tigers. A big win on the weekend.
It was boring as shit, but, you know, when you play Fremantle, you got to play like Fremantle. Just happy that we played that way and won, because if we'd played that way and lost, I'd have gone Cthulhu. It bored me to tears, just sitting there watching it. Like, if we weren't in front, I would have been frustrated with how that game was played.
How much chicken would you have trained?
They don't sell drumsticks or buckets.
Richmond's one of the main tenants of the MCG and they don't sell KFC.
I've said this before, I'm on the record, it's Red Rooster at the G.
Maybe that's why KFC boy wasn't there last weekend. Very disappointing. The only reason I watch Richmond games.
Stayed in Cairns, I guess, and continued his singing career, went on tour. It was a good win, they played well, and
Deledio was well held by Crowley, yet
yeah, we still did all right. It was funny to get him, when he got on the end of that goal in the first quarter, about 4 players went up to Crowley and told him about it, which was funny. Yeah, not much else from that game. Just next 2 weeks will be good. The lid can come off if we win one of the next 2, I reckon.
I reckon the lid's already off at Tigerland.
Not for me, it's not.
And mainly because the doco that's on Sunday night, they're already referring to the past as the lost years, like it's all over.
That's a very good point, Mike Sheehan's doco.
Mind you, next 2 weeks you got Sydney and Hawthorn, so
You could be in the top 4, Fyfie.
If we win both. If.
And you did beat both those teams last year.
We beat Hawthorn by 10 goals. Just one of those 10-goal wins. Anyway, the Richmond doco.
I did think it was a bit of liberty. You know, lost years implies they're found again.
That's exactly what I thought. I really am hoping that there is some footage of like steaming shit somewhere in that doco.
If there is no pile of manure, the credibility of that is lost immediately.
Sounds like that doco could be a steaming pile or something. I guess we'll find out. West Coast Sydney, I don't think we need to talk about that, do we, Duckula?
I think it turned out the way we expected it to, really.
Crowd was in pretty good booing form, I thought.
Yeah, look, my throat's still sore. I generally get over it by Monday morning, but I did put in a good effort yesterday, and yeah, I'm still sore tonight.
West Coast did all right, but Swans kind of played all over them, and that was a bit ominous for next week. Hopefully they're a little bit tired. Brisbane, Melbourne.
Just happy to get the 4 points. Melbourne actually made us earn it, so they're not percentage boosting shit.
Bryans are having a nice purple patch of late.
Oh, we got a big game against Port Palace next week.
I saw part of that game. Toompas took a half plus 10 minutes to get a touch, I think.
Wasn't he one of those guys who was guaranteed the Melbourne future premiership?
Yes, he was. I actually saw him in the under-18 championships. I watched some of that last year. Just happened to come across a South Australian game, and I watched that, and I thought, geez, he looks all right. And then just seeing the way he plays at Melbourne, I'm like, oh, that club. Just makes you wonder about that club and its development. They turned decent prospects into potatoes.
It kills careers, players and coaches.
Oh, seriously, I heard Jack Watts is actually a really good player in the under-18 comp as well. I heard he was like a genuine number 1 draft pick. Any other team would draft him at number 1 or something like that.
My memory of that was Nat Nui and Rich were regarded as pretty sure things, but then Watts had a huge carnival and threw himself into a top 3.
Biggest mistake of his career.
Hawks getting over the Bulldogs. Pretty good win, tough conditions. I think Hodge kicked goal of the year. That smother then Torp off 3 steps. That was pretty good. I rated that.
It looked pretty good. Look, Hawthorn were flat again. You know, I don't know. We don't deserve to be on top of the ladder. I don't think we've played good football at all year.
Geelong still the favourites, are they?
No, I think Sydney's turned to be favourite this week. And look, you know, Griffin, he was elite. That's pretty much everything you need to know about that game. He was amazing, Griffin. His kicking, he's got to be the best in the league.
Yeah, he's a gun. And the only way you could stop him was Cyril trying to chicken wing his arm off Juddy style.
Yeah. Well, look, we know you Richmond fans are prone to exaggeration, so I really shouldn't dignify this chicken winging business with response. But look, he's a good tackler for Cyril, so he did his bit. He played a solid quarter of football there, so I was pretty happy.
Are you telling me that a Richmond supporter would not be able to recognise a chicken wing when they saw one?
Are you trying to tell me that you're actually a member of the cheer squad down there at Richmond?
God, no.
Fyfie, can you start singing Lady Gaga for us?
Are you KFC?
Yeah. My Bay 13 spider senses are tingling like a motherfucker right now.
We all know by now, because we've actually heard him, that is not me.
We haven't heard you sing yet.
Okay, I'll just say it. Can I get some dancers up here? It doesn't sound the same. Tomorrow night or on Tuesday night, so by the time this is up, it would have aired, is Buddy Franklin's doing his live tweet of his 13, hashtag Buddy13, I think it's called. It's influenced by Kobe Bryant.
Can't wait.
Doing it for his 81 points. Can't wait as a North Melbourne supporter.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's influenced by Harry O. Look at me, look at me, look at me.
I'm just wondering how many footy specific tweets are going to go accidentally onto the cast, 1 gram tonight, please, or something along those lines.
But yeah, that hashtag thing was quite amusing. And as you mentioned, Cthulhu, about Harry O'Brien, he'd be offended that he hasn't been asked to tweet about anything yet. And maybe that's an idea for them to go with for some other live tweeting events. And we've got a top 5 on that. So number 5...
Griffey tweeting Brayshaw.
Where's he going to be?
The back 9.
Number 4...
Bruce tweeting a Cyril Rioli quarter.
Because Cyril only plays about 1 quarter a game.
Number 3...
Vlad live tweeting a pie eating contest.
Number 2, James Heard live tweeting an injection procedure of AOD or thymosin. And number 1...
Here, myself tweeting the Gold Coast Carlton game from last year.
Fox Footy have a new ad out with Tim Shaw from Demtel. Big hello to the people at Fox Footy who are clearly reading Bay 13.
Ugak's got a case. We'll put our lawyers onto him after they finish with strategy.
We might have to ring strategy up and get some legal advice, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and quickly, just last week's poll. Should there be a press red for Scott Brother option on the Fox Footy coverage? 57% said yes, 5% said no, and 38% said all I want to see is Jack Watson address. Looking to next week, we've got Essendon Hawthorn on Friday night, which is going to be huge, and, well, it's the Peptides versus the Injunction on Friday.
Oh, this is probably going to be the biggest first versus 18th match ever.
Fairnicum, I'm hoping to be there, and I'm going to get my boo on big time.
Who are you going to boo? Jab's not playing.
I'm just going to boo Essendon, mate. Beginning to end, I'm just going hard out. I've been practicing.
You'll have a sorer throat than the Scott brothers.
I think the Bombers are looking pretty amazing. I can't see the Hawks beating them.
Oh, I think the Bombers will win, but then they'll get the points taken off them later.
Yeah, it'll be amazing if 18th beats the team that's coming first.
Nah, fuck that. Hawthorn will smash him.
Yeah, Hawthorn easily.
I hope so.
I hope we beat them. Look, I hope we do the right thing by the rest of the league, because Essendon are a bunch of cheating sillies, and I'm absolutely sick of the sight of them. So hopefully we can shut them right up and give them an absolute pounding, but who knows?
It's at Etihad, isn't it? They didn't move it.
It is.
You'll still beat them there, but it will suit them being indoors and not on the bigger ground, where your key forwards can get away a bit easier. Gold Coast Carlton, Cthulhu, tell us about this.
Not a lot in the way of meltdown material, although the Carlton board will be pretty a no-go zone if Carlton do happen to lose. But no, Carlton will win it easy.
You're going to have a sausage if you lose? Going there for a sausage?
Casher will be on Ablett, tag teaming him with Garazzo, and that'll be it. They've got no one else.
I'm actually going to this one, hopefully to laugh at Carlton, because laughing at Carlton and Collingwood is what makes Woody great.
I reckon Gold Coast are a dead set chance, but I'm picking the Blues.
I think the Suns are a chance, but who knows? You got one team who's playing probably below where they should be. You got one team who seems to be on the rise quite heavily.
Metricon's fast becoming that sort of difficult away game for opposition clubs now.
Yeah, and they're getting good crowds and good support up there. Like, it's getting a bit louder, the crowd noise, when they have games there. You can hear it on the TV a lot more than you used to.
Yeah, they
Yeah, which is
actually
really-
do have fans at the Gold Coast, so they've genuinely earned their spot.
Gold Coast just highlights Kevin Sheedy's failure, really.
You picked the wrong one to go to.
Melbourne versus North. What do you reckon, Danny?
God, I'm not confident. I tell you what, if North lose, big footy servers will shit themselves like you wouldn't believe.
If you cough up a 3/4 time lead in this game, the internet would break.
We will.
Yeah.
It does have magic written all over it, this game.
Best lulls to be had would be if Jack Watts kicks the winning goal after the...
Oh, God.
But yeah, Melbourne are coming back from Darwin, so they'll be a bit more tired. I don't think it'll happen this week. And North have had a couple of tough losses since the Richmond game, so you're probably due for a win over a team you're better than.
And I've noticed this year that North pummel the crap teams. They absolutely hammer them.
Collingwood GWS then.
It'd be good to see GWS win, but sadly no chance. Not even Fig Jam could lose them for this one.
Cloke could kick enough behinds for them to get over the Giants.
I think we all know what I think. Kevin Sheedy, he's a disaster.
You're starting to sound like hodgepodge on Bartel, just quietly. Geelong, St Kilda. Geelong will come out breathing fire and down at Skilled with the lights, and St Kilda and the umpires, we all know how that goes.
Joel Selwood's going for the free kick record, just quietly, I've heard.
This match is between one of the best teams in the competition and the best moral team.
And we all know that Geelong are a bunch of cheating drug addicts, so their victory is bound to be immoral with an asterisk. So I guess that's predetermined that they're going to win it. Look, Stevie J's back. Seriously, Cats, their loss last week, that was a once-up. They kicked against the win for 3/4. It was a fluke. It was like Sydney in the grand final. The Hawks had to kick against the win for 3/4.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. Geelong are going to absolutely hammer them. Absolutely hammer them.
Shush, Fyfie. Yes, they did.
That's just a hodgepodge response. It's just like when you argue a point, hodgepodge just goes, nah, not true. Lee Matthews is better.
Keep your KFC in the bucket, Fyfie, all right? Just seriously, against the win for 3/4. That's how it happens. Well, who are you all tipping, Geelong?
Geelong.
Cats.
Geelong across the board, I'd reckon. Freo Adelaide at Patterson's.
This is a tough one.
Fremantle win this easy. Adelaide are been crap all year away from home. They're a lot better at home. Fremantle are the same, and it's at Patterson's. Fremantle will win by 10 goals.
Will
All right,
Adelaide get
smash.
Dangerfield back this week?
He did his shoulder, so I don't think so. Is Pav back?
No, he's still suspended
No.
for like a another 2 or 3 weeks, isn't he?
They'll get Sanderlands back and they'll get Ballantyne back, I think.
Barlow's playing, that's all that counts, isn't it, really?
Didn't win a clearance on Sunday, not one.
Geez, you're a confident bunch.
Yeah,
down there,
that's
Rich.
harsh.
This
Man. I
is
thought
that.
it was good.
Just saying, you didn't win a clearance.
The lid was off the KFC bucket right there for a minute. We all heard the tone of your voice fight.
Firm grip on the microphone.
After losing a game like that, Ross Lyon will be into him, I think, and they'll probably beat the Crows, who are coming off the opposite, an uplifting win. They'll probably be a bit flatter. That's just my 2 cents.
I'm tipping that Adelaide.
Port versus Brisbane, if it wasn't for Friday night, would probably be the game of the round, because the loser's in a bit of trouble, I'd think.
This is a pretty big game. And not to mention, we do have a bit of history for each other, especially from the early 2000s. Used to be a great rivalry back in the day, and Sunday's a good chance to rekindle it.
The part about the great rivalry doesn't make too much sense to me. I think that might be a bit of an exaggeration. But you did have a rivalry for a while. I think Port will win though, mate, sorry to say. Even though you guys have been red hot lately, I just think at home, they'll just maybe be a bit too good for you. They'll be close though.
They would know they were pretty flat against St Kilda and that they probably should have won by more. And that's just like, I guess, Richmond's win against the Gold Coast that focused them for the Freo game. It's you get out of jail with a close win against the team you should beat, but you don't play well enough, so you still get the bake.
Any West Horshams listening to this, what's with the obsession with betting with ex-lotto tickets? That's what Port Adelaide blogs seem to do. I assume it's just the West Horsham thing.
They what?
They bet with ex-lotto ticket instead of Stigs and Avatars.
Yeah, they actually have legitimate bets where instead of like a $10 bet, like one of them will buy like a lotto ticket for the other one and send it to them outside of Big Footy.
Only Adelaide people would do that.
It is truly a bubble, isn't it?
Paddles, don't try and make any sense of Adelaide and the people that live there. It's just...
It's a giant Frankston.
You'll just hurt your brain. How about the Eagles? Can they finally crack a win against the Bulldogs?
Well, you'd think so.
It's far from a certainty, but let's hope so.
Yeah, I think they match up all right. It's just that West Coast got such a powerful forward line and they'll have too many goals for the Dogs because they can't seem to score enough.
I think West Coast will win this by only 10 goals.
Bulldogs, you can't really question their endeavour. Like, I think they're generally not good enough to beat teams, you know what I mean? They play with a fair bit of effort.
They just don't have a decent avenue to goal. They don't have someone to kick goals. They have a decent spread of goal kickers. It's their midfield works hard. Their backline's not bad, but they go forward and there's just not enough there to work with. Like Jared Grant's still getting games, for fuck's sake.
Now, there's 2 top 8 sides playing off this weekend, and it's probably the game of the round. The leader's off the KFC bucket. Sydney versus Richmond, guys. It's just huge. Seriously. Can Sydney get within 10 goals?
I reckon they got a fair shot at doing that.
I'd be very happy to get a win. The Swans are a very good team. All their players, Hannahs and Goodsy and Mummy and all those guys.
Don't forget Joey Kennedy.
I've been watching on the couch. Apparently they are superstars of the game and should have, no shit, they should have 4 players in the All-Australian midfield this year. That was actually said on the couch, and Roosie kind of had his smug little smile when Jared kind of put it to him. But nah, sneaky chance. Had the tough game against Freo this week, similar style of play, and they're coming back from Perth and playing reasonable footy, and we did beat them last year, but obviously 10 goals is off the table. Lids on. That's me slamming the lid shut again.
I just hope the cameramen do their job and focus on the Richmond beer squad this week.
They did, but they didn't have that one shot of him just getting Fyfie all sort of angst about the umpiring. That was the disappointing aspect of that game. Really, is the only reason why I watched Richmond Freo in the first place.
I'm hoping that Richmond wipe the smug, self-satisfied, smarmy, Paul Roos-esque grin right off Sydney's bloody face and get a big win. Go the Tigers. They're making the finals, and they are a lock-in. They're going to make it, and I reckon they're a chance to win. I think at the SCG, probably the Swans will be too good but I really hope Tigers, are up and about and give the bloody Cola Chiefs a run for their money.
That doesn't sound bitter at all.
That was sincere, actually.
But yeah, obviously, it would be nice to get a win because it would probably secure a final spot. But another good reason to get a win is simply just so I can avoid falling victim this week to an aggressive scarf wearing, because I hear they're quite bad with Sydney supporters. Like how they wear their scarves aggressively at Hawthorn supporters. This was the vlogcast for round 18. Fyfie joined by the Cat Wrangler.
Keep wrangling.
Duckula.
Quack.
Paddlepop.
Bye.
Dan. And our new Carlton edition, Cthulhu.
Yeah, can I have my old account back?
If you've made it this far, well done, and thanks for listening.